Good to go here. The last game, our champion performances, players of the game, defense, Sean Riggins, I think 3 tackles, a pass breakup on third down interception, playing great as a true freshman. Really challenged in that game too with some speed, good players, great performance there. Several defensive guys played well, but he was our champion player. No one on offense. Guys battled hard, but again, competitive plays, didn't make enough. Got to keep getting better there. Very, very good defense, but got to play better. Our specialist player of the game, Joseph Gideon, really moved different things in the kicking game. 2 really good punts inside the 5. I think last year we had 1 snap for the season inside the 5. I think to date we've made the opponent snap 11 snaps inside the 5, so that's been nice. It's several times we're pinning them deep. Got to hold them down there and flip the field. One of the times we held them down there and they punched out to the 30 and the kid had a 52-yard punt. We got it back on the 18, so we pinned them down, but then with their punter, they flipped the field on us. We had some really great scout looks last week. I think one of the reasons our defense played so well, we're getting an awesome look. It started Monday. We got to get a good go today. We talk about our team getting deeper, and sometimes that means your scout teams and your freshmen. You know, a lot of those freshman receivers aren't playing, but they're giving you looks and to get the speed that you need when you're playing the upper-level teams, and it's been outstanding. We had Xander Diamont was our quarterback for him last week because of the nature of what they do at Ohio State. And Ricky Brookins and Alex Rodriguez. Those are 3 old guys, a couple walk-ons that earned scholarships. All 3 of those guys are guys that travel and play for us, but they did a great job at the attack look last week, and Alan Stallings on defense. Game itself is, we played strong. It was solid, but a lot of respect for Ohio State. That's a really good team, very, very talented in structure and scheme, and they're really good. It's an outstanding team. We had some mistakes, and you're always going to have some, but we had some critical mistakes that would, in a really strong opponent, haunt you more than, not that you're ever going to be perfect, because you're not, the game's not, but your margin of error is pinched a lot. A turnover inside our 10 by Richard, not protecting the ball, 1 hand on the ball, really not moving fast, getting rid of it, put him in a better situation, gave them an easy score. Kickoff return when we made it 17-10 inside the 10. So we gave them 2 easy field positions. It'd be great to see our defense respond home to the field goal. They did get put in 2 tough spots. That's 14 other points. Twice we had the ball on the 4-yard line and didn't score. One situation we're running it, one situation we're throwing it, and didn't score. So you got it 1st and goal. We had it 2 or 3 times on the 35. One time we had on the 30, I think 35 had a delay, or 37 had a delay, 35 had an offside, and we pooch punt, sky punted. So we had 10 yards of non-aggressive penalties that ended a drive with a delay. Matter of fact, on the delay, Richard had 6 seconds to get the count off and just didn't see the clock. Got lost in time. Thought he played well, but it's the first time he's played quarterback since he's been here, because the stress of the arena and the stress of the opponent and the speed and the size and the windows, and that's the first time he's really played quarterback. He's taken some snaps and ran some plays, but that's a game where, and you can talk all the game situations you want, but until you're out there, and it is really, really loud and hard to communicate. And man, those guys are fast, and here's the windows, and you got to get rid of it and distribute it. So great learning situation for him. He played well, but can play better. We played solid D. We keep improving. Our kicking game was pretty good, except for the kickoff return. So again, solid performance, but not good enough. Getting in the 4th quarter where we're playing with it. I think that team was winning games by an average of 49. We got a chance in the 4th quarter, even with the critical mistakes, to make it a 1-possession game at the 10-minute mark, and we don't. So we fought it and battled it, but we got to keep getting better. A lot of things we can improve. We've shown that. We're off to a good start this week. Nebraska comes in. I don't know if the polls are out yet because of the hurricane issues, and we send some thoughts to a lot of people down there. We got a lot of family and friends and players. Got family in North Florida, Central Florida, up through the Carolinas. We got a kid on our team from Charleston. So we send our prayers and thoughts. I think all our families are well, but that being said, that's delayed the poll. Nebraska was 12th. I would assume they're going to be 8 or 9 with a couple losses when that comes out. So top 10 teams coming in, 5-0. Really solid on offense. 3 guys running the ball for 60 yards a game, give or take. Both their tailbacks, newbie. I think it's pronounced Ozigbo, I think. I'm saying it right. Fast, strong runners. Quarterback's running for 58 change, 59 yards a game. So 3 guys at 60 yards a game running the ball for 230, 240. And then Tommy makes him go at quarterback, throwing the ball live arm. So here's, much like last week, it's a really good running attack with good running backs. You add the quarterback into the run game, who's a very, very dynamic runner, and then he's throwing the ball really, really, really well. We've not faced these guys, but you see them from afar. Probably don't know them as well as Ohio State, but there's some similar traits offensively with line play, running game, a great quarterback that can make a lot of plays, and speed in the perimeter. Defensively, they're playing solid, about 160 running, 170 passing, or 190 passing, something about 350, 60 yards a game. Playing, they're not giving up big plays or making you snap it again. Just like Ohio State, they're 36 minutes time of possession. They keep the ball from you, and they do great on offense, which helps their defense. They're +4 in the turnover ratio, so they don't turn the ball over. They don't give up big plays. Got great combination on offense. So again, they'll be a really, really tough challenge. It's homecoming. I would expect the way we're playing. I thought the crowd last week against Michigan State 2 weeks ago was awesome. I know our kids, that crowd Saturday, it was awesome. Those guys and I've been over, that thing got loud Saturday. It got really loud, and it was really good. And I know it affects your team. I think our kids enjoyed it. I thought against Michigan State, our fans were really critical in the fourth quarter. They had some communication issues, and think of homecoming. I think the weather, I didn't check it today. Is the weather still holding? We'll find a reason between the weather or the highway. But you can put on a parka, you can come a little bit early. It's a great team coming in. They're top 10. They're 5-0. It's historically one of the premier programs, brands, of college football. Our team's getting better. Our fans were awesome last time. I'd love a bigger crowd. I'd like to pack it up, fill that arena, get it loud, and go the distance, because it's got a chance, if we play well, to maybe be a fourth quarter game again. So a great opponent, great challenge. We just got to keep working to get better.
Got down to the 4-yard line, and I know you guys have struggled a little bit in the red zone. Is that, I don't know, is it conservative play calling down there, or is it just not being able to match up when you get down there?
In that game, early we got down there and we wanted to run it, not let them tee off, so we ran one on, tried to get a tempo run. We thought we could cram a couple and didn't. Then it's 3rd and 1, we throw it. So is that conservative? What's conservative? If it works, it's good. If it don't work, it's bad. So, we try to run it, we try to throw it. Those guys have only given up 4 touchdowns in 5 games, and we got 2 of them. They ain't given up a rushing touchdown yet, so it's tough sledding. Every play's challenging. That's a heck of a good defense. And we've had some blunders previously as far as not finishing. We've talked about that, and we can execute better, but that was a stout opponent, and you got to give a lot of credit to those guys too. And we can call some better plays. When they don't work, you should always do something else. But those, that defense, I think they're 2nd in the country in defense and 3rd in the country in offense. That's a good team. And at the same time, for us to win the game, we got to make it go. So whether that means pad level and running through trash, or when you execute a pass play that you get the route and you get the shot. We just didn't get it done Saturday. Credit to them.
Is there any benefit to scheming and game planning against Barrett? 1 week and preparing for Barrett, then preparing for Armstrong. Does it help in any way just to kind of have that back-to-back like that?
Yeah, well, I don't know, because sometimes they see the way you do it. So they know how to maybe, or they see some things that Barrett did. And so maybe I don't know, maybe you can ask Coach Allen that. I just kind of approach it one at a time. I do think, when you're playing an option team, if you see a back-to-back or a throwing team back-to-back, or there is some carryover. So there makes sense in that. But at the same time, in my mind, I like it when I see people that do a lot of stuff that we would do offensively. It's like, okay, look, it looks like they're, playing it this way or that way. Then you also got to come back and say, wait a minute, in our structure or in things we do, here's how maybe they're going to attack us. They might be doing this, but remember, we're a little bit different on O&D. So those are some of the chess match deals. But I would say Coach Allen would say a running quarterback back-to-back week, there'll be some carryover. And it's always difficult. Like say they ran the quarterback 26 times. I think their comments were, hey, the passing can always get a little bit off, and it was Saturday, and we were loading the box, so you include one more guy, and that's the benefit of when you can throw it, like these really good guys can, and you add the quarterback running threat, it makes the defense even more and more stressed. It's a much more difficult college football where you have to account for, the width of the field, the depth of the field, every player, and then every runner is a tough game defensively.
I saw Rashard was shaken up a bit after he caught the guy from behind on the kickoff return. But just physically, how did you guys come out of that game?
Good. The last 2 weeks, the hardest we played and the healthiest we played. A little bit of hammer and the nail deal. When you're doing the hitting, our kids are playing hard, and we're practicing right, and we're practicing hard without overdoing it, and our kids are strong. We've had some earlier injuries, but the last couple weeks we played as hard as we can play. We played some physical teams, and we're matching the contact version of it, and we're coming out very, everybody's going to get a couple. There'll be a bump or bruise, but we've been it's Big Ten East football, and we've trained for that, and I think our team's up for that.
Any update on the earlier injuries, anything new?
Yeah, I know Feeney's doing more. We'll see if we can get it back. Jake Robinson doing a lot more. Cole Guest is out there running an ankle injury. So, I mean, we're no worse. Robert McCray got in that game. We got to get Camion going. We're not going to, you got to get going. And so we're no worse. And in some ways, we're probably stronger than we've been. He's in the academic center writing a paper last I saw. That's what he told me. He had a paper due today.
He getting to the point where he can keep the season more?
Yeah, he needs to. And I don't know. I mean, sometimes, I think we're, I listen to Ohio State guys, how they're playing, so many different guys in our world. Some of those young guys, or when they're coming off the injury, like Camion, when they're not practicing as cleanly as you want, what's the trust factor? And then because you don't have the trust factor, then you're overplaying some other guys. I think Divine's a better player if he doesn't get too many reps, because I think he's stronger, faster. As good, as solid as he's been. And that's where we got to keep bringing Majette and Tyler and D. Williams into the fold. And, we've got Thornton back at receiver. Donovan Hill's been a little inconsistent. We got to get Ian Thomas coming along. We lost Fuchs, but Ian coming out there. We got to get Cam. We need a lot of those guys, and we've been talking for about a month. But I kind of put it on the coaches again yesterday. Please practice those guys more, that you will get them on the field. Because quite honestly, sometimes it's just a trust factor. And that lack of trust can wear to fatigue and wear down when you're playing this game, and not this game, but when you're playing the season. So we just got to keep pushing them along, and I'm not discouraged by anything. I'd like to see not Camion. I'd like to see several of those guys practice better. I think sometimes when you're a second and third year guy, you're not getting the snaps. You can get moody. A really good team. Those kids are hungry and they're fighting. And as a coach, you got to reward them and get them on the field. As a player, you got to bail your coach out and not let him down. So you keep the momentum and it keeps building.
Talk a little bit about Ashawn and his progress through the season, and then him getting the first start of his career.
He's very smart. Got a lot of traits similar to Richard Fant. Now, he's a little bit bigger and longer than Richard. Richard's very intellectual, very smart, and I think Ashawn's the same way. And I think with intelligence, sometimes you can play faster because you can see it, you can process it, you can anticipate. So for a young player, I think he's got a really good head on his shoulders. I think he's very level-headed. He is big and long, where he's a little bit, we've had trouble in years past. Our secondary's been a little smaller. We're a little bit better there. We're tackling better in space. We're playing with better leverage and keeping the plays in front of us. And like I say, as a young player, he's very, very mature. Same high school as Marcus Oliver. So that's a solid program. Good bracket of football in Cincinnati. Coming out of Hamilton High School. Again, very, very good high school basketball player, very good high school receiver, so there's good ball skills. Because sometimes, years ago in the games involved in high school where guys throw it a lot, but years ago, if a guy was playing high school DB, you wondered why. To me, it's hard to, if you're a defensive back and you're going to play in this league and you can't play on your high school basketball team, what's wrong? If you look at, no disrespect to other athletes in the school, but if you're a good enough athlete to play Big Ten corner or safety, you think you could be a good high school basketball player on the track team. Maybe be a guy that's a tailback, or you're catching punts. When you're watching a DB and he's never returning a kick, what is his ball skills like? So I think the best thing about it, Sean, is not only is he a good DB, but he came in as an all-around athlete. And the game's played in space so much, those guys got to be very acrobatic out there, as far as torquing and making plays on the ball. So very, very smart and a little bit longer, bigger guy. And I just think a well-rounded athlete that makes him, for a young kid, playing pretty good.
So Tyler Green having a pass breakup too. You talk about a longer kid that is able to play some corner for you. Has he come along a little bit?
A little bit. Now Tyler's a little bit different because he's more of a track guy. So it's more of that straight line speed. Where being from a DC area, like, man, why ain't you playing basketball? You're going to either DeMatha guy, right? Was that DeMatha, right? It's a basketball school. I remember when I went there, I spent 30 minutes walking around. They ran me out. I was looking at all the posters of Morgan Wooten and all those guys, all the teams, and going through and they're playing. Lou Alcindor back in the day. It was like I was on like in a who's who, like I was lost in a time warp. That was a great visit because they got this iconic old little. It was pretty cool. But like, the difference between those two guys' areas, Tyler's bigger, longer, and a great athlete, but he's more of a track, straight line guy, where I think Ashawn's got a little bit more ball skill. And the way the game's being thrown around, it's nice to be big and long, but you got to have some skill. And the more Tyler plays, the better he gets at. But Tyler grew up as his mom was a trackster. She was a great track athlete. And so Tyler comes in as a long body, good speed, but maybe not as ball skilled as some other guys. But he's gaining on it. It's good to see. That was a big play. Anything else?
How have you kind of evaluated the development of the offensive line in terms of just pass protection? Because there's only been one sack in the last couple games.
Yeah, and we've been challenged too. Those are good teams. I think we played two defenses that are in the top 20 in the nation in total D, of the guys. And Michigan State's not in there now. They're always structure strong. They've had some injury. And so it's, we're gaining on it. A little bit's Richard and putting it together and the ball getting out of hand. Some of it's the run game. So a little bit's kind of putting it all together. But you get those young tackles. I mean, you're just never worried about leg. I'm worried about Coy Cronk. That's a small town high school kid playing linebacker a year ago. Now you're playing left tackle in the Big Ten East. And so, you got to do some things to give those guys some tools so they can operate. It's one thing to draw a circle and say, you got him. But it's another thing to give him the tools and the resources and the way you put it together so that he can get the job done. It's one thing to have an assignment, but sometimes you got to put it together where they can function.
Guys kind of take it personal the first couple weeks, giving up a few sacks. I mean,
We talked about it because we take a lot of pride in taking care of the ball and taking care of the quarterback, and we weren't. And sometimes it wasn't their fault, But we just, it's just there's certain keys to winning. Like we got to run the ball better. The difference of the day was they were good enough that they could run for 290, and we were good enough to run for 99. And that was, we've come, but we've not come where, because sometimes it's tough sled and you still got to run the ball. And running's schematics, but running's talent, but running's also a mindset. And we got to continue to play better run D and play better run offense. And the team coming in is running the football very well, and they're defending the run better than we are. And that's a little bit of last week's rub. That's a challenge.
Do you talk to your star at all just about the platform he has with raising his fist and making that kind of statement at a game?
The only thing we talked back in preseason about it, and we didn't even know, like in our our script that it said come out the 5-minute mark, and we come out here I think at the 6 or 7 minute mark, and so we had no clue what was going on. Wasn't on the agenda, so we didn't say anything about it for the game. We did talk to our team. I think it's one thing to be respectful of the people that have served our country, and there's many different genders and races that have done that, and let's be respectful of what the flag stands for, but no one tells you to salute or put your hand on your chest or sway or put your eyes down or whatever. There's, and so to me, I appreciate the fact that their kid stood, and what I really appreciate is that he plays well enough. It's one thing to talk, but when you play, you got to slightly, maybe, I appreciate the way you play, and I think it's one thing to be a guy talking, but when a guy's performing, I think one of the guys quoted, that's one of the more mature intellectual kids. He said, we our school believe, and you're a citizen first, but we also want to represent our school the right way. And I think the way he goes about it, I think the way he did it, that's his choice, and I respect he did it in a class way, and I respect he came out and played a good football game, and he didn't know it was going down, and no one else did. And we just talked preseason. We'd more be unified as a team, making statements the way we. And I appreciate his comments. We're one as a team. We're one as a country. That's all we talk about our team about. We're one team, and our team gets discriminated against. So deal with it. We get positive or negative publicity, positive or negative calls, positive or negative crowds. Deal with it. It's life. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't hold you back. It's the reality of the world we live in, and that's how we try to coach our kids. You deal with it. And so again, it's where we're at, and the best thing I like about it is we talked about it months ago, and that happened and went on. That was good. What else? Anything else? Defensively, before you talk to Coach Allen, who's doing good, the best thing defensively is the kids are playing hard. So as good as Tom's doing, it's the same players. So it's a credit to Tom, but those same guys are the same guys making tackles, covering, getting after it, because you got a bunch of guys. Matter of fact, you lost some key guys up front. So the best thing going on defensively, Coach Allen's doing a great job of leading that defense, because you guys didn't want to talk defense today. He's coming up. And they're doing well. That was a good challenge today. It's got to be better. He'll tell you that. The best thing about the defense is what the kids are doing. Coach is doing a great job. His staff's doing a great job in my perspective. But he'll tell you the best thing, those kids are playing hard, and those kids had to make that choice. And that's a credit to him. It's a credit to those guys. So I appreciate Richard and what those defensive guys do and the way they play, because that's the real impact they're having. All right, guys. See you Saturday.